in disbelief. My family is a big military family, so it was inevitable that I was joining. My brother joined, my cousin joined, my father was in the military, my uncle was in the military, everybody's in the military. So I joined the military too. And so when I was stationed in Korea, and subhanAllah, it's amazing that now that I think about this, my roommate was Muslim and he had the Bible open. And I was like, you're a Muslim, why do you have the Bible? And he was like, oh, you know, he started talking to me, all contradictions and this and that. And I used to be, you know, I had the veil over my eyes. I'm a Bible thumper, man. I'm like, nah, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's my roommate, you know, we're in the army. My brother was in the army too. He was stationed in Alaska, the opposite ends of the world, right? But subhanAllah, every week we would call each other. You know, we grew up with each other. We had a big family that, you know, because of some circumstances, we were split up, but him and I always were together. And so one day, one conversation, it was a Friday, I remember, because the weekend's coming up and now, you know, I'm going to get a little 2-day pass so I can leave the base. So we're talking and he said, oh yeah, you know, I have to tell you something. I'm like, yeah, well, what is it? He's like, I'm Muslim. And I can still hear it the way he said it. I'm Muslim. And I'm quiet and I'm like, I'm in disbelief. And then I just start crying and I'm crying. And these are not tears of joy, brother. I am sad. I am thinking, how can he betray us like this? How can he do something like that? You know, I'm in denial. And, you know, he told me, this is, you know, I found Islam and this is what I want to do. So we hang up the phone there. I said, all right, I'm going to see what this Islam is about. Because I know my Bible. So I'm going to study this Islam. And I'm going to use it to bring him back. That's my plan. So in the army, I'm studying Islam to use it against Islam. And in the army, so I go where they tell me to go. So I got orders to go to Iraq. So I'm like, oh man. So before my deployment to Iraq, you know, I'm doing my studyings. I go online and I start downloading a lot of different things about Islam. There's this one specific thing that I saw. I don't know if you remember Napster and stuff like that you can just download anything. A LimeWire. There were things that you could just download without paying for it. So I put Islam and there was this one thing that's in Arabic and it's connected with Islam. So I download it and then I play it and it's Arabic. I don't know what it is, but I just burned it on CD. I'm going to take it with me and doing my studies. So here I am. I go to Iraq. And so Iraq, I'm there for a year, 365 days. When I first arrived there, I'm thinking I'm only going to be there for maybe 2 months. After 2 months, they told me, no, we're here a year. My heart went from here to the ground. I told myself, I'm not going to survive. It was hard enough, brother, to make it to those 2 months. Because every day I'm thinking, when I wake up, today is going to be my day. It's my last day on earth. And to feel that stress and, you know, it was overwhelming. So at the end of the day of whatever I'm doing, any mission I'm at, you know, I come back to base, go back to my little tent. I am so numb because I'm too stressed out. So I get my CD player out, put my headphones on, and I start listening to that Arabic thing that I downloaded. And it's calming me down. All right. So it's calming me down. And, you know, and for the moment from when I press play, and it's maybe like a 5-minute thing, I'm lost. I'm not in Iraq. I'm not on in that tent. I'm in total safety and I'm good. And so it's like a refresher for me. I'm good. And so I do that every day. Whenever I'm feeling really, really stressed out and every day, I'm telling you, today, every day is my last day. I am going to die. And when I realize at the end of the day I'm still alive, even now I'm shaking a little bit. I just play that little thing, and it's like a reset for me. So fast forward, you know what? I got my orders that I'm going home. SubhanAllah, I made it. I made my whole tour without a scratch. I come home and I don't come home the same man that I went over there. Came home bitter, angry. I came home a different man. I lost family members. I lost family members because I pushed them away. I just didn't want to do. I didn't want to do with anyone. I wanted to be by myself. Is what I know now is post-traumatic stress. And so, you know, I'm a loner. My friends who used to call me the priest, because again, I never cursed, anything like that. I came back like like a drunken sailor, so to speak. It was a 180. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to study anything, you know, my little thing that I wanted to do with Islam with my brother. I was like, I gave up everything. But those stressful moments were still there. And so I would every now and then get that CD out. I go into my car and I just, you know, close my eyes and I listen to it. And that would, again, that's my reset. That calms me down. So eventually, you know what? I put that CD away. I'm living my life. 20 years after I came back from Iraq, brother, 20 years later, this is about COVID era. I forgot to mention, during my little studies, I met a Yemeni brother in one of the bodegas in New York City. He gave me a Quran. And from the day he gave me the Quran, I've been through all over the world. I mean, when you travel, you lose things here and there, but I always had that Quran with me. Always. So 20 years after I came back from Iraq, I'm in my house. I looked at that Quran, a lot of dust on it. I took it out. There's dust everywhere. You know, I'm coughing. I said, you know what? I'm going to read this. I'm going to read it. And so I read it, you know, Surah Al-Fatiha, all the way to chapter 114. And so when I finished the Quran, this was maybe like 2 or 3 days before Christmas. I got in my car, my wife, I dropped her off at work. She works in Manhattan. There's a masjid in Manhattan. There's a big masjid. I told myself, if there's a parking spot there, because you know, in New York City, there's no parking anywhere. I said, if there's a parking spot near that masjid, then I'm going to park and I go in. If not, I'm going home. As soon as I get there, subhanAllah, a parking spot right across the street. I said, all right, yeah. I said, all right, God, do you want me to park? I'm going to park. I park in, I go into the masjid, talk to the brother. I'm like, yes, you know, I want to talk about Islam. You know, he's all, the Imam's on his way. The Imam gets there. And I told him, yes, you know, I read the Quran and, you know, I think I want to go toward Islam. And the Imam was like, okay, you know what, take your time, learn more. And then when we come back, you can take your shahada. I said, no, I'm ready now. I want to take my shahada. So he said, okay. So I took my shahada. I met my brother soon there, right there that same day. I called him. He said, I got to meet you. Because remember, he's Muslim. It was 1998, I remember. He became Muslim. And so he was so happy, you know, I'm Muslim. And I started, you know, I'm in my path. This is December. So I'm, you know, they gave me a lot of pamphlets and it's so overwhelming. And then the transliteration, I'm like, oh, I'm reading something. I'm like, wait, this sounds familiar. What I'm reading, you know, how to pray. This sounds familiar. I said, well, I'm home, right? I said, wait a minute. I go into my closet, into my archives, right? And I dig out that OCD that I haven't listened to in 20 years. Put it in, I press play. When I press play, it said, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmani Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin. It was Al-Fatiha. It was Al-Fatiha that I listened to every day in Iraq. That gave me calm. It was Al-Fatiha that I listened to when I came back and I was battling with that post-traumatic stress. It was the words of Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, that as a non-Muslim gave me the comfort and the peace that I needed at the time.